Hi guys, it's Becca, and I have been privileged enough to be sent a streamer for the documentary Iron Ladies from Strike Media, and it is absolutely amazing. I didn't really know much about the women in the miners' strike, the stories that they're told, just the fact that I didn't know anything about, the women right at the centre of the 1984-85 miners' strike, and the fact that this documentary shows how these women held their families and whole towns together through sheer determination. It wasn't just about standing on the picket lines, though many of them did. They came out of their kitchens, they came out of their homes, they came out of their work. They stood at the picket lines. They got arrested, they got roughed up. It was the invisible labour too, cooking meals when there was barely anything to cook with, watching children, keeping spirits up when hope was really thin. This film makes it clear that without that work, the strikes wouldn't have never lasted a year. It really resonated with me just how many of these women weren't political before the strike. They were wives, mothers, daughters who found themselves suddenly organising soup kitchens, speaking at rallies, even outwitting, the police with a sense of humour that shines through all the hardships. The women that this documentary focuses on, they are a mix of grit and laughter, and it feels so human, and I do not believe I've seen that in a documentary in a very, very long time. You can still see the scars in these women today, not just the physical scars, the mental scars, but there's also such a pride in how this documentary highlights it, knowing that these are ordinary women who stepped up, became leaders, and refused to back down. I didn't know that one of Sunderland's former mayors was so involved in this. For me, Iron Ladies, it's more than a story about the strikes. It's a reminder that history gets made in kitchens, in union halls, and in living rooms by women who were told that their work didn't count and who ended up being the backbone of it all. And this documentary it's just a fascinating look into it. And the director has done such a brilliant job of interviewing these women and just bringing up things that isn't known. I didn't know that, so many people from abroad were helping. These women, they laugh about it now that they didn't know what was going to be in their care packages because the food was coming from abroad. It was coming from Germany, it was coming from France. Europe really supported us in these times, and it's just really fascinating, and I think this is just a fantastic documentary, and I would really, really suggest people going to watch. But thank you very much, Strike Media, for letting me have this opportunity to review it because it's brilliant and everyone involved with it should be really proud.